left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poisons, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, YouTube? Is everything working? Let's see. Is everything working? I think I'm gonna check 1, 2. Check. Let's see.
Hey, listen.
Sounds like it works. Anyway, what up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 154 or issue 154 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. We've been doing it for a minute, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that everybody who is here live is with us live, and I'm glad that everyone here that is watching this as a past episode is here watching it as a past episode. Guys, we are so close to hitting 950 subscribers. Nine people away from hitting that many subscribers. I mean, you know, we'll talk about it. Obviously, we'll talk about what we're giving away at 950, but I just want to thank every single one of y'all for coming out and hanging out with us, whether it's live or as a past episode. We can't do this without you, and we greatly appreciate it. We love the fact that you guys everyone, I need to be more inclusive, watches our show and watches us talk about comic books. I mean, come on. That's the dream. Anyway, before we start the show, let's talk about our show's sponsor, and that is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. If you are ever in the DFW area and you're looking for a kick-ass comic book shop to go to, check out Collected Comics and Games. They have 3 locations, one in the DFW area. They have one in Fort Worth, one in Keller, and one now in Irving. So you have your bases pretty much covered outside of Dallas, but I'm sure at some point Ron will get an itchy.
Irving is practically Dallas.
I mean, it's mid-cities. But anyway, I mean, I know that, and I'm not even from here, Nate. You should know that. But I'm just saying.
Haven't you officially lived here longer now?
See, I moved up in 2012.
Right, but when did you move out of San Antonio?
In 2012.
No.
What?
You were living in Abilene, weren't you?
Right, but I moved to the DFW area in 2012.
Right, but what I'm saying, but you left San Antonio in like 07, 08?
05.
Exactly. So you were only there from what, 87 to 05?
Right.
Okay, so that's 20. No.
Why are we doing this? We should be talking about
17. That's 22 years. I guess you haven't been up here.
Exactly. I'm just saying, I know more about this area than you do.
That's not true at all.
It's so true. Anyway,
please continue.
Go check out Collected Comics and Games. They've got an awesome inventory of stuff, back issues, new comic books, toys, models, games, trading card games, you name it. They've got everything. So go check out Collected Comics and Games if you ever get a chance. They're an awesome group. Ron and Brent and the whole gang, they're amazing. So please go check that out. Like I said before, we're very close to hitting 950 subscribers. Shit, we're really close to hitting 1,000 subscribers if you really think about it. But when we hit 950, you guys know the drill. We're giving away this King in Black number 5 spoiler variant Ryan Stegman cover, 9.8 CBCS grade. When we hit 950, we're giving it away. Everyone that's been here for a while, you know we do give away slabs when we hit milestones when it comes to our subscriber goals. So please, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. Give this video, this live stream a like. It would be amazing. It helps us with the algorithms and gets us exposed to more people. And I know that sounds really weird, but we just want to expose ourselves to all of YouTube.
You had to do it.
I had to. I really don't care. I had to say it anyway. Also, when we hit 1,000 subs, we're giving away this big bad boy, the CBCS 9.8 Amazing Spider-Man #4 Original Sins tie-in, the first appearance of Silk. That's right. We're still crazy enough to give it away when we hit 1,000 subs. We can do it, guys. We're very close. So please make sure to hit that sub button. We need your help to get to that goal. All right, let's talk about this week's comics. You know, you basically called me out over the week that I have missed some pretty banger of books. And look, man, I got another baby on the way. I gotta save money. Okay, so you can tell me all about how great
is
those books
the
are.
worst excuse I have ever heard.
That is not an excuse. That is the most valid.
You are a
reason.
professional. No, what you
professional?
should be doing is
Listen.
you should be dropping the manga purchases because you don't do manga on the show.
Okay, I didn't buy a manga
out of your
this week.
monthly budget.
Didn't buy a manga this week.
I didn't monthly budget.
Can't do it. I gotta
Listen.
put it on. I just can't. I can't do it. I feel like I'm naked. Anyway, we'll think
Says
about
the
it.
best book he read this week was Spine-Tingling Spider-Man. Interesting.
How many? I feel like there are so many Spider-Man books, just like there are so many Batman books. There's a ton.
There is. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Spine tingling was well. Mystery cooking.
Hmm.
Mystery is cooking with grease.
Mm-hmm.
The book is such a sleeper. What is that? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Spine-Tingling Spider-Man?
No, the grease.
It's,
what's the grease?
Oh, like
mystery's
cooking with grease,
it's
like
a
cooking
it's a
with
slang.
oil,
Yeah, okay, I'm
cooking with
stupid.
gasoline. Like,
Got it. I got it. Understood. John, I got to know what you think of Moonchild from Ghost Rider. I had to go back and get the first issue, so I'm glad I did. The Moonchild was hilarious, disturbing, creepy. I completely endorse it. Interesting. So we're missing something apparently.
Okay, so you and I had radically different weeks as far as like we're doing the show together. We read some of the same books, but if you look at your week versus mine, radically different.
Okay.
You had what, 3 books that I didn't read?
Yeah.
I had 4 books you didn't read. So what's
right.
out of 1 through 5? What was your grade for this week, or an ABC scale? What's your grade?
I'll say this: there was nothing that I was like, well, that was dumb. You know, for the most part, I had a decent week, but I will say, outside of maybe one book, nothing really like got me as jazzed as like when I first. And I think that's the litmus, right? Like that's the like the bar, I guess you would say, of where I judge my weeks is if I get that same sense of like, holy shit, these comics are awesome. Whether it's Cosmic Ghost Rider or Thanos Wins or Hoxpox, you know, something like that, or do a Power Bomb, or you know, something in that vein. What was the other one? What was the kaiju one that I liked? You know what I'm talking.
Ultra Mega.
If it doesn't, yeah, Ultra Mega. If it doesn't get me that hyped, that's where I grade it, right? And so based off of all those books that I just mentioned, God Country, I would say this week was a solid B- for me. It was just kind of average, outside of one book.
Yeah.
So
see, like my week is very easy A+.
Right.
Like this was probably in the top 5 best weeks of comics.
But listen, you like the feeling, or at least the idea of a serial killer breathing down your neck as you read a book. Like that's true. And like for me, that would make my week horrible.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do the spoiler here right now. The Deviant is not my pick of the week. I actually have 2 picks of the week. And this isn't, this is my Marvel, this is my DC. I have 2 picks of the week firm. They both count. I have a list where I'm keeping track of picks of the week. They're both going in. And it's not, neither one of them is the Deviant. So.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying, in general, you like to read books that would scare the living shit out of me. Like,
yes. Anyway. We had radically different weeks is all I was trying to say.
Okay.
I feel like this will be an interesting back and forth.
Okay. I'm down. let's get to chat here. Let's see. No offense, I'm glad I don't have kids, so I can spend more money on my hobbies. I'm I'm envious of you, but I still spend the money. I just shouldn't. When my kid's like, "Can I get a new toy?" I'm like, "No, I gotta buy comics." Like, what's your problem?
Until we go to the local con, and he's like, "Oh, I have to buy these swords. I have to buy these swords
For my kids, yeah.
for the kids. Yeah,
For the kids. They're already broken, by the way. They broke like day one.
Oh, no.
I mean, I knew that was going to happen. Dude, I love Ghost Rider, but Moonchild needs to go to the dumpster. I can't look at it for far too long. I've got 3 kids, and I spend a lot on my hobby. My kids need to learn my happiness. Right, Joe? Of course. Ultra Mega.
That's the real thing.
Deviant was good. All right, well, let's go ahead and just get cracking right into the week. First up, we have Daredevil, issue number 3. I thought it was a good book. I'm still really digging the book. I like that no matter what we're doing, we're kind of second guessing, like, are we dealing with a supernatural threat, or are we dealing with just man being corrupt? Or are we dealing with both? And I like that the book is doing that without outright telling you what we're dealing with. And I like that. I like Matt trying to, solve a crime, solve a mystery, if you will, and seeing this new environment that he's in, because he did come back from the dead, trying to figure out what's what, what's real, what's not, juggling being Daredevil and still being, this priest that has an orphanage with these kids that rely on him. And it could crumble at any moment, and it's all based on the fact that he's out being a vigilante rather than being the good steward that he needs to be. But in his eyes, he feels like he is being that when he is Daredevil. So there's that internal conflict that I really am digging with this run. And what I'm most impressive 3 issues in is I'm not going, yeah, but Chip Zdarsky's run was so good, and that's not, I'm not saying that to, I'm not saying that to degrade what Chip did. I think what Chip did was fucking awesome. But I think that just makes whatever Hamed is doing here that much better, because they're making us completely, I wouldn't say forget, but I'm just enjoying the run so much that that thought's not even crossing my mind. And I love that. I think that should be commended, that his run is being so captivating that I'm just enjoying it for what it is, rather than going like, man, but Chips was so much better and this is kind of like we can say that kind of criticism at what that's going on with Guardians of the Galaxy right now. Like we have fallen off that book so fast, not so fast. We stuck with it for a while, but it just didn't work for us. And for some people it does, but for us it doesn't. And I think that book, for instance, or at least for me, just didn't work to the point where I was thinking about Al Ewing's Guardians run, and I'm not having that issue with the Daredevil run. Now, Candy Cane beat down. I love both artists in this issue. I do agree, John. This cover is
totally agree with the
ass. I hate this cover. I'm sorry. I'm just not there. I'm just not in that camp. I'm not in the John Romita Jr. camp. I'm sorry. Like I didn't grow up, obviously, reading comics with him being the artist. I didn't grow up with his dad being the artist, and the nostalgia just doesn't hit for me. For me, it seems lazy. If I were to see this sitting next to a RB Silva or a Pepe Larraz cover, I'd be like, duh, that's it. I mean, you look at the Fall of X and Rise of X covers that are coming out, and they are fucking gorgeous. And this to me is like, so this is your first draft, right? Like, you're going to make this look better, right? Like, to me, that's what it is. And I'm sorry that I'm criticizing it. I'm sure John Romita Jr. probably put his heart and soul in this book. He worked his ass off on this, but to me, it just doesn't make the cut when it comes to the other cover artists, other artists, interior artists that are doing covers right now. I mean, an art trim cover, come on, you know what I mean? Like, it puts it to shame. And
I mean, next week or next month we get a Peach Momoko as the variant, and I'm getting that. instead of the
Yeah,
normal one.
yeah. I think I'm starting. I think I'm like I bought this cover, but I think I'm done. I think I really hate that, and I'm gonna have to keep my eye out on the solicitations to make sure, like, oh, got a new character, because that's the only time I'm gonna buy a cover A, because it's just not. It's not worth it to me.
That's what I'm doing too.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is this book is actually, to me, was the worst book of the week. It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I was just saying, like the week was
Based
really
on
good.
everything else.
This was I still gave this a 3 out of 5. Like I like what we did. I feel like the way that Bullseye was sort of introduced was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. The like fuck me, it's Daredevil thing, that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. But
there were some cool splash pages in here too. Like there
there were, yeah. There was that one where he's like, zip do dotting through the
zip zap zoop. Yep.
Thing. That was pretty good. But overall, I would say I would say that the sophomore slump hit in issue 3 instead of issue 2.
Okay. All right.
Just a little bit.
I think that's a fair criticism. Ahmed's writing spine tingling Spidey as well. I like the issue, and Matt's responsibility for the kids is a great hook that I really care about.
Yeah, see, I
A Daredevil book has brought the best out of each writer that I've read. It's one of the books that boosts the best out of the writers.
I've
100.
heard that. I've only read Chip's run, so I don't know. But
yeah, no. All right, next up we have Dark X-Men issue number 4. Holy shit! I did not expect this book this week. I was expecting the little Nate that sits on my shoulder going like, why are you fucking reading this book? It's trash. Why are you reading other X books? And what I thought was going to happen in the book didn't happen. So, there's a big red herring on the book, which is essentially, what's his name again? Remind me, because I'll the Ben Reilly. Chasm. So I was expecting Chasm to be like, all right, I'm joining Orcus. Here we go. Because Orcus was basically trying to find him. And he literally shows up for a page and a half and goes, nah, fam, I ain't about it. And he walks back into limbo. Like he literally walks back into his prison after he gets released by Madeline Pryor's clone. Thought that was really fucking cool. And this was probably the most goriest X-Men book I've ever read.
Oh,
I mean, you got people getting their faces incinerated, like literally to the bone. You've got dudes being exploded, like just literally just blowing up. It was brutal. And the issue ends with Madeline Pryor's clone, like demon version of her that Orcus has created, sitting on a pile of corpses, mutant corpses, saying, I have my throne now. You can vacate limbo. I am here. I was like, damn, son. So I don't know necessarily what Fox is going to do and where this, it seems kind of apparent that X books are moving into a land of chaos. Do what you want. Okay, I'm not trying to. I'm just telling you that I enjoyed it. Now, some people may not. But I just felt like this book did a lot of movement, and it feels obvious that we're sowing seeds of chaos because we need it for when we start whatever X-Men's going to be after the fall. With our new creative team and all that. And it's kind of hopeful in my opinion, because we need, we're in a safe place with Krakoa. We can't die. We've got our own nation. We're all unified. And now there's splintering happening. And I'm not saying like the Dark X-Men are bad guys, but we just have this team that is outside of the X-Men that still has that core principle of trying to keep mutants safe and to be heroes in just a different way, in a more dark and sinister way. And this is Hellions 2.0, if I'm being absolutely honest, and I fucking love it. Is it as comedic when it comes to comedic relief? No, there is not. Those tones that Hellions had that made it so special are not present in this book, but the brutality is still in this book. That one issue, the issue 2, where Gambit literally turned Archangel into a piece of bacon. Fucking cool. This issue where people are getting cut in half and their faces are being melted off, and there's a throne of mutant corpses being sat on. That's fucking brutal. It was cool. And we're seeing a side of Orcus that I don't feel like is as brutal as the main Orcus group that we're dealing with in the main X-Men book. They feel kind of cookie cutter villain. Of course you're going after the mutants. Of course you're going after their infrastructure. And in this, it's like, nah, fam, I'm going to rip the spine out of your body and then use it as a walking cane. Like, that's fucking brutal. That, to me, embodies what Orcus kind of is. And in the main X books, it's kind of like, we messed with your drugs. Like, okay. You know, like, I mean, the Hellfire Gala 2023 was the Red Wedding, and it was brutal. I mean, seeing Nimrod fly through the roof and just literally split someone in half as they hit the ground, that was brutal. But after that, we haven't really had anything like that, and we're kind of getting it more in this book, which I really like. So the next issue, I believe, is the last issue. But I'll be interested to see what kinds of seeds of chaos it sows when it comes to our new X books, when it comes to 2024. When we get the new line, we get the new writers. We get a little bit of a conclusion in our Jean Grey book, which we'll talk about when we get to that. So anyway, I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Nice. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Immortal Thor, issue number 4. Hold on, let me find the button.
That's the gas.
This is the guy's picking the
Yes. I was hoping you'd throw something in there too.
This issue has solidified for me what Al Ewing is trying to do with Thor, which I still don't know what he's trying to do. But, you know, issue 1, it may have been because I was, you know, flying across the country back home and I was on a plane and there were screaming babies around me and I was reading it on my iPad. But issue 1 just didn't slap for me. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't as good as Nate liked it. Like, Nate was like, ah! You know, you know, you were literally, your eyes were just rolling in the back of your head. And I was like, I don't know. But this issue just had everything in it. For all intents and purposes, Storm is Al Ewing's character. Like, that is, Al Ewing owns Storm. That's
Okay,
Storm is his baby.
If I would say it like that.
I understand. I see what you're saying. Shut up. I'm just saying he writes Storm very well.
Yes.
And the other thing I'll say is, Kukulo, yo, you're right here with Pepe Larraz and RB Silva and all our other, you know, Daniel Warren Johnson. You're right up there, man. You're the fucking tits, dude. Like, you rock. And I don't know, man. Like, the panel of her flying across Morocco, and you've got Al Ewing just setting this magnificent stage of Storm and just how he's writing about her and just expressing her strength and her just fucking badassery was amazing in this issue. And then when Thor summons her and when she's getting sucked up into the storm and she's like, God damn you, Thor, like, she's fucking pissed. I loved it. I thought the whole interaction between them was amazing. For the first time, seeing essentially all the other characters who are wielding the hammer in their like 1990s or 1980s outfit, I actually liked. I thought it was like, oh, that's fucking cool. To see Storm in her, you know, Thor regalia, I thought was amazing. And I finally felt a weight that was being balanced with our baddie, with our, you know, Utgard Thor. I thought it slapped. Everything slapped in this issue. I thought home run, out of the park, past the tracks, whatever you want to call it. It was amazing. I had a great time with this book.
Yeah. So one person you haven't had a lot of experience with as a writer, but you have, I guess. Peter David. You've read a lot of his like those like minis that were like the symbiote Spider-Man, like going back time and stuff. So you had a little bit. Anyway,
yeah,
he's like the continuity king, right? Like, he's just like, that's his thing. His thing is like properly alluding, bringing up lost plot lines, bringing up old characters. And I think that like the torch has been officially passed to Al Ewing. Like, in one issue, he properly nods, alludes to, and brings information from X-Men Red, DeFalco's run where the Thor core first appeared, Daniel Warren Johnson's Beta Ray Bill mini when he talks about Sif and his and Beta Ray Bill's interactions. A minor but definite nod to Valkyrie with to the Jane Foster, Al Ewing written Valkyrie, and Jason Aaron's Thor run. How do you do that? How do you hit 5 books just like here we go? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, the guy does his homework. Like he just does his homework.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, like this is elevated for me a little bit because Beta Ray Bill is my second favorite character of all time, and I just like to see him utilized. Yeah. But I felt like everything was perfect. We've seen Storm being able to handle Mjolnir before. We know that she's worthy. We saw that in like a New Mutants book in the 80s, like in an annual. It's like in a weird spot. We know obviously that Beta Ray Bill can do it. And we know that Loki cannot do it, which is why Beta Ray Bill had to hold it while Loki siphoned the energy. And then of course we know Jane Foster can as well. So this is like not only like this isn't like bullshitting, you know what I mean? Like he didn't establish anyone new even that could harness the power of Thor. Like he used what was already there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was perfect. And then at the very end, I don't think do you know who that guy is from Immortal? Okay. So he was in Immortal Hulk for a little bit, but what he gained popularity from is Jason Aaron's Thor. He was like the main protagonist in the Jane Foster era.
Okay.
While regular Thor was unworthy. He was like the main protagonist, so he sold his soul so that he can become a real life Minotaur. But because there's like some weird shit where he like in Immortal Hulk where Al Ewing like that he can't die, and so like as stuff happens to him, his like body will continue to fall to pieces, but he is still alive.
Yeah.
So seeing him there, and then the weird meta commentary where see him holding Thor's first appearance comic, and talking about how he's the I don't know. I loved it all. I thought everything was perfect about it. This was for a Thor. I don't know a Thor Homer. Like this was 100%.
Yeah. I don't know how I didn't see this cover because this covers the fucking tits too. Like this is an amazing cover.
I don't like anything that looks like a movie poster that it doesn't look like a comic to me. It looks like just a movie poster.
I think it looks amazing. I love movie posters. It's great.
I am glad. You like
I am glad. Anyway, yeah, this is our pick of the week. Obviously, I know you got another one, and that's cool. But this was just a slam dunk, and it's the first book I read this week. You were like, "Have you read it yet?" And I was like, "No, I haven't even started." So this is the first thing I read, and like nothing could compare. Just was that good. All right, next up we have Jean Grey, issue number 4. We'll be short and quick with it. It was good. It's kind of it was pretty evident where we were going with the book, but essentially, we get confirmation that they're in the White Hot Room. Jean Grey's in the White Hot Room, and she's coming to terms with her decisions that she's made throughout her life. And the Phoenix Force kind of calls her out on it. She calls her out, or it calls her out. Basically saying like, why did we just do these 4 issues? Essentially, that's what the Phoenix Force is saying. It's like, why can't you trust in your intuition? I picked you for a reason. And Jean comes to terms with that. She comes to terms with that everything that she's done in her life has been for a reason, and it had a purpose, right? She comes to terms with Madeline. We kind of already saw that, but she does it again. Essentially saying, if that had not happened with Madeline Pryor and her becoming the Goblin Queen or whatever, Nathan wouldn't have been born. Cable would not have been born. And that's a positive. And so there's just all these different situations where she's essentially finding out that, and she tells the Phoenix Force, like, listen, the reason why I did that was just to see if there would have been a better outcome. And the Phoenix Force is like, nah, bitch. Like, what's meant to be is meant to be. And that's what it was meant to be. And so she comes to terms with that. And it ends with her waking up in the white hot room with the other X-Men and Immortal X-Men. We had kind of already seen that. She snaps out of her daze. And it's pretty evident that Jean... I mean, she's going to be the Phoenix. Like, it's going to happen. That is one of the keys that is going to unlock how we get out of the Fall of X. It's pretty apparent. The way it ends is, her being enveloped in flames and then saying "to be continued?" ? And it's like, duh. So I think what we're going to see in Immortal X-Men, because it's like continue Jean's story in Immortal X-Men. That is the way that our mutants are going to get out of the white hot room and back into reality, is by her force as the Phoenix. Do we get a new version of Jean Grey as the Phoenix? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I think we're going to get a new iteration. We're going to get a different powered version of Jean as the Phoenix. Maybe it gets a new title. Maybe it gets a new suit. Maybe it gets new powers. I don't know. I just get that feeling that we're going to set a standard that's going to be utilized in the X-Men comics after the fall, after everyone is done writing their books and we get new creative teams. But I think Jean will be, as we set that beginning of stories with the new X-Men comics, Jean will be the Phoenix. I can't see it not doing that. I don't think she's going to become the Phoenix and then use her powers and then she's going to be back to being normal Jean reset with the new X-Men books. I think she's going to start off in the new X books that we get with the new creative team as the Phoenix. That's my guess. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But, and I'm not saying that's my guess because that's what I want. I'm just saying I think that's what's gonna happen. Yeah. That's their saving grace. That's how they're gonna get out of the situation, is by Jean's hands as the Phoenix. So I liked it. I thought it was good. It kind of tied everything up that we've been doing for 4 issues. And it felt good because there was callbacks to what happened in those previous issues about her trying to fix her history or change her history. We still got another visual of Scott as the Phoenix and then Wolverine literally stabbing him in the back of the head to kill him so that the Phoenix Force doesn't corrupt anyone else. Like, we got some really kick-ass visuals that we had seen previously within the run, which I thought was a nice callback. So I give the whole run, or the whole mini, I'd say a solid B. I thought it was good. It was fun. Was it necessary? No. Well, I don't know. I say no, but if she ends up becoming the Phoenix again, then when you're reading the X-Men books, you're like, well, wait, how did that happen? Well, you go read this. So there you go. The Ruxin issue of Immortal Hulk are some of my favorites from the run. I'm glad Ewing is going back for more. I'll buy anything with Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. Joe, this book's done already. If so, what would you rate the miniseries? Yeah, a B. A B. A B. All right, next up, we have Star Wars Visions. This was very close. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. It was. I liked it. Now, I don't know the backstory behind this planet, but I don't know if. Okay.
Everything in here, every character, every person, every place. Now that she made all this up.
So it's all Visions. Okay.
There's no continuity here.
Then that makes me like it even more, because it's her twisted, gross vision of Star Wars, and I fucking loved it. I think anytime we get a book by Peach Momoko and her artwork, you can't not. I can't say that. As a fan, I can't not say that was fucking awesome. I liked it, and I respect visual books when it's just pictures.
Silent issues.
Yeah, silent issues. I really like it, and to get a silent issue by Peach Momoko, fuck man. This is gross. This is a gross issue. Like, it was gross.
What are the tendrils?
The way I looked at it was the tendrils were a physical embodiment of something that sucks the force. The what am I trying to say? Yeah, the force out of people. Like it sucks the life force / force. I mean, I want to say more life force than force, because when it came across the girl who was a Jedi or whatever she was, it got overloaded, right? It couldn't handle it. So I think it's just this like this thing that the Empire is using to siphon life off of people, and almost like maybe it was a Sith, you know, maybe that what it is a Sith, and it needed a conduit to lure people in, right? This priestess, if you will. But visually, I just thought it was stunning. I thought it was great.
See, first of all, I
like the interpretation. I like that we have to interpret it.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Life force and force are the same thing in the Star Wars universe.
Okay, well there you go.
See, and I like that. My initial thought was that it was just a physical manifestation of the force, like being used.
Okay.
So like the people weren't actually floating in the air with tendrils coming out of their mouths, but he was using the force to withdraw something from them, and we could see it happening. But I think that's pretty much similar to what you're saying too. So like, I think that is. I certainly don't think we've ever seen that as an interpretation of the force before, and I really like it.
I kind of wish this issue had come out in October, because it's a scary issue. Like it's gross. Like it's makes you feel icky. But then again, Peach Momoko, man, like she's just so cool. Like her artwork, her art style is so kick-ass, and the fact that it's, you know, inked and colored in watercolor just makes it feel that more impressive.
Can I introduce a novel idea, something that we've actually never spoken about even one time on the show?
Are you being facetious?
Not even in passing, or like it's probably going to be shocking to most people. They've never heard me say this.
Okay. You're being facetious. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
This book is a magnum opus example of why manga should be colored. Look what you get when you take Eastern style art and make your eyes actually able to see and enjoy it. My God, it's amazing. Manga we would stop having American comics in 2 years if they just put fucking color.
We're almost about to not have American comics in 2 years because people are still buying manga without color.
Nah. I'm not even going to get into a comics is dying debate because that's you can't handle it. But
wait,
it's just so frustrating in a good way for this book. Like I just read this book and I'm just like, look, why can't I just get this all the time and all my awesome Eastern style art?
Okay, all right. Well, all right. Last Marvel book, and then we'll get to our halftime question by Joe. Uncanny Avengers issue number 4. Again, this kind of just solidifies what I was saying before about writers setting up what's going to be the norm for mutants in the new X books, and that is chaos. That is no unity. That is scattered. That is fighting for your life. And we continue to get that here. We find out who Captain Krakoa is, and he is a clone of Captain America, the Hydra version of Captain America.
Didn't you call that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said that quite a while ago.
Like first
issue of this.
And I thought it was cool. Again, I like Uncanny Avengers, and the spotlight is obviously Deadpool. Deadpool gets cut in half by Captain America's shield when Captain Krakoa, aka Steve Rogers, throws it at him, and when he gets cut in half, he's like, ah, shit. And then as his body slides, upper part of his body slides off the shield because it's stuck in the wall, he literally says BRB. It's fucking amazing. Like, I laughed so hard when I read that. But overall, I like the book. To see where it's going to end, obviously, I think it's going to be in chaos, and we're going to try to set a new norm for mutants. And what better person to do it than Gary Jerry, who's really killing it right now when it comes to X-Men books. He's really just driving the nail in the coffin with such force when it comes to X-Men, and I love it. I can't really say much more about the book. I thought it was great. I'm enjoying it. You know, there's a lot more action in this one than previous issues because we're getting to the end. We're getting to the end so that we can finally get into the fall and rise of X. So I liked it. Thought it was fun. All right, before we jump into DC, we're going to talk with Joe on our halftime question. Part 1, The Marvels has had one week in theaters. Either you like it or you don't, but that doesn't change the numbers. It's the lowest MCU film to date. Its second weekend has had a 74% drop in the MCU. Is the MCU in trouble? They are now doing DC numbers. I don't think the MCU is in trouble, but I do think that they are in. They need to figure out what they want to make, and also be happy. Well, that's not the way I want to say it. I'm sure they're happy with what they're making in the sense of creative. I'm sure they're not happy with the money they're not making. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
So, one of the other YouTubers that I watch pretty religiously is Gem Mint, right? He does the statue.
You still watch him?
Yeah, I still watch him. I still watch his statue reviews because I think they're cool. Like sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, huh, maybe I'd buy that if I had money. But I never will. But he did a video. He's started to do videos where he's doing like basically rereading CBR articles or Variety articles and then putting his opinion on it. And he he did a video about the drop off on the Marvels. And I will give him. I don't give him. I think he did something very. I don't know if it's honorable, but he prefaced his talking of Variety shitting on the MCU and more importantly on the Marvels dropping so drastically with numbers. And he did something that I don't think a lot of YouTubers have the balls to do. When they do those kinds of things where they talk about the hot topic, right? Just to get clicks, right? Just to get views. And he said, I haven't seen the movie. I'm not going to see the movie, but it's not because I hate the concept. It's not because he's like, I just don't have any interest in seeing the movie, but he said, I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about the movie. I'm not going to do it. He's like, I'm not. I'm going to read this article and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. But I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm not going to shit over the movie because I haven't seen it, nor do I want to see it. So I can't give a valid opinion whether it's good or bad. And I'm sitting there going like, he didn't have to say that. He does, and the other thing is he could say that and he could say it at the end of the video after everyone's done the clickbait video, right? So, but the one thing he did say is one of the main reasons why I'm not seeing it is because I don't want to see it, and I just want Marvel to understand that that's just not something that as a Marvel fan I want to go watch. And I was like, you know what? That's a valid opinion. To me, you have every right, listen, Nate, you have every right to say that. Because you're not saying, I'm not going to see it because it's a full women cast. I'm not going to see it because there's not a male dominant, he's like, I'm not interested in Captain Marvel. That's it. Like, I'm going
to interrupt you and let you know he's lying through his teeth.
I'm sure he is, but he's already turning off the people that are clicking the video to incite some type of negative connotation for it. And I commend him for that because he doesn't have to do that. He can, like all the other guys that are doing that video, because they know that they're inciting emotions towards the MCU, and I'm going to talk shit because that's what's going to get me clicks, and that's what's going to get me views, and that's what's going to get me money. And he said, all right, I'm going to take half that and cut it. I'm just going to cut it in half. And he didn't have to do that. So I respect him for that. And you're right. He may be lying. He probably is lying.
His history would not reflect that, I guess, is more of what I'm trying to say.
Right. And who knows? Maybe he's trying to turn a leaf. But
I mean, this guy put Ethan Van Scribner on his show in the midst of Comicsgate. Well, so it's opinion I can never trust.
I got you. But I didn't expect it. But what he said in what he said about I didn't want to go see it because I wasn't interested, and he was using that as a platform to tell Marvel, look, I'm just letting you know how I feel and how I just don't want to, like, I want to see something else, you know? And I'm on the opposite side. I want to see it. I want to see it. Have I gone and see it? No, because I just don't have the goddamn time. But I think Marvel is in a spot right now where unfortunately they're going to have to be more picky about what they put out because they're dealing with a lot of irons that are getting out of control, which is, and I think the biggest one is the Jonathan Majors issue right now, right? Like they've invested so much time and effort into the Kang storyline, and now they're sitting there going like, fuck, do we pivot and just get rid of it, or do we recast? And I know that they're probably going to recast. Like they've just put too much time and effort into that storyline, and I kind of agree. Like, I want to see it played out. I'm invested. I want to see it. When it comes to the Marvels, the first Captain Marvel movie was not well received, and I'll be honest with you,
it had a vocal majority, but it was a massive monetary success. It made over $1 billion.
Right. But this one isn't.
No, this one isn't.
And if I'm being honest, when I saw Captain Marvel, I walked out of the theater going like, okay. Like, yeah, it was fun. It was fine. It was fine. Comparative to everything else that we had seen. Now, had Black Panther come out before Captain Marvel?
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say yes.
No, for sure.
And when I walked out of that movie, I was like, fuck, dude, that was dope. Like, that was like, that got me hyped. And I just think if I have to say if there was any criticism about Captain Marvel from the first movie to the second one, and I haven't seen the second one, but the genuine feeling I get with that specific franchise of a movie is it feels incredibly rushed. I don't feel like we've had enough time to really love and care for Captain Marvel in the MCU. She was introduced, right? And to me, the only reason why she was introduced for the movie was, were there Skrulls in the first one? I can't remember. No, right? No, yes, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that storyline. But the biggest for me, and I could be totally wrong, but the reason why I believe Captain Marvel was introduced was because she was the trump card that was going to turn the tide in Infinity War, or in the last movie. Right. Because they were going to lose if she didn't show up and blow up Thanos' ship. They were going to lose again if she didn't show up. She was the card that, the reverse, if you will. And then you threw it back to Tony and snap, great. So I think, and that may not be the actual reason why Captain Marvel isn't doing well, but just from my observation, I just haven't had enough time to really, in the movie, when it comes to the comics, we get her, right? We've been reading her comic. We understand why we like her. We understand her ups and downs. We understand her relationships and everything that she's going through. In the movies, she's been around for not that long. And when she shows up, it's like, hey, where have you been? Oh, I've been off saving other things.
Right.
What?
You know what
I mean?
But the main question is not why did the Marvels not do well? It's, is the MCU in trouble?
I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because of what I saw on Disney Plus with Loki. I mean, Loki just, to me, forgives any kind of creative injustice with the MCU at the moment. And DC can't do that right now. Like, DC's not like, hey, man, our movies suck, but if you watch Flash, you're not going to give a shit what we put on the silver screen. And with Loki, it's like, screw up whatever you want to screw up. That got me so hyped for Kang Dynasty or the Kang Wars, Fantastic Four, and Secret Wars. I am here for it. Thunderbolt's coming out in a bit. Like, I cannot wait for it. to see the continuity that we're going to wrap and unwrap with Deadpool. Cannot wait. I just don't see the Marvels not doing well, saying like, shit, we're fucked. I mean, if you put into account everything that's been going on before that movie came out, and a lot of people, you can't use that as an excuse. Fuck yeah, I can. There hasn't been any proper promotion for the film at all. And the minute the actor's strike ended, I mean, how many videos did you see come across your TikTok where it was X, Y, and Z actors going like, hey, I'm in my living room right now, please go see Marvels, and it's already been out. You know what I mean? Like, right. There just wasn't any proper promotion, and every other Marvel movie that's come out has had that as a benefit, whether it was a shitty movie or not. Just saying. And I think that's a valid argument. I don't care if you don't think it is. I think it's a valid argument. It did not get the proper promotion that it normally. They didn't do any tours. They didn't have people talking about it. Even though you've said that was a big, what was it? That was a big negative when it came to the first movie. But I don't know. Like, you've got a different cast here. You know, you've got Miss Marvel and Photon, like, you know, like you've got those actors who are charming as hell. The one bright spot that I've heard consistently in reviews of the Marvels is Miss Marvel and the actor who plays Miss Marvel. She's the bright star.
Well, John said it. Miss Marvel took this movie from Captain.
And that's, I mean, from what I've read and the spoilers that I've read, that's kind of what's going to happen anyway. Like, we're moving in that direction anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is going to be just like an obvious like Nathan answer, unfortunately, but my answer can be very simple. My answer to the question of is the MCU in trouble is I don't fucking care.
Yeah, too.
I don't care. Yeah. I know the MCU is what got me into comics, but like if I want superhero stories, I go to comics for those. I don't watch movies for those. The movies are interesting. The stories and the shows are interesting to me. But like none of them are my primary interest in comic books or in superheroes or comic book characters. And I don't fucking care. Like, I am super hyped to see the Marvels. It has one of my favorite characters of all time being in it. I loved the first Captain Marvel. I like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I like the Miss Marvel TV show. I'm super pumped, and I still haven't seen the movie in theaters because that's not the world we live in 2023. And what's really fucking frustrating to me is that people actually think that we get to make one-on-one comparisons to movies now and movies before the pandemic, and that's not how the world works anymore. People don't go to movies. They don't, especially when they just said, "Hey, wait a couple weeks and it'll be online," or you know, sometimes it'll be online, you got to pay $20. Sometimes it'll be online for free. You just need to wait a little bit. People will go, like me, will go, well, goddamn, I'm busy anyway. Why am I going to go spend $30 at the theaters when I can just wait and when I have time and watch it at home? And I am a massive, massive, massive theater lover.
And that's crazy.
I really like going to the theater.
The fact that you're saying that, I'm like, am I dreaming right now? Am I dead? Because like
it's one of the true oxymorons to my introverted nature for sure. I hate people. I hate people near me. I hate like being dirty. You know, like I get it. I totally get it. But the experience of just the huge screen and the loud shit, I love it. And I still haven't seen it. I haven't had time. I can't I don't know.
And also like, and that's the thing. I think that's why you're seeing the articles that are coming out and saying what they're saying. You know, it's like this whole like get back to the movies, you know, and I'm like, no, like I like being able to sit on my couch and or in bed or on my iPad or on my 65-inch TV or my big ass fucking TV in my bedroom or on my computer screen and watching the movie at my pace. And now, granted, when Kang Dynasty comes out or Secret Wars comes out, you fucking know that me and you are going to get tickets and we're going to get the fucking Secret Wars popcorn tub and we're going to sit there at IMAX and watch it. You know, there's certain ones that you're going to do that with, but like I didn't see the Wakanda Forever movie in theaters. I haven't seen a lot of the
I didn't see
Spider
that.
I didn't see the Spider-Verse movie, which is like visually you want to go see on a big screen, and I didn't go see it. I saw it at home on my television. The minute it came out, I was like, bye. Like I just did it.
Didn't see No Way Home in the theaters. Didn't see
Yeah.
the second Strange in theaters.
Nope. Well, all over here.
I don't
the
know.
MCU,
Like,
no,
I just don't care. Like, all MCU stuff. Like, I like pretty much all of it. There's not one thing that I would tell you that it's so terrible I won't watch again. Like, there's not one piece.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I'll watch any of them again at some point. Fine. There's still so much I haven't even seen. I haven't seen the new season of Loki. Never watched Moon Knight. I never saw the Werewolf by Night special. I haven't seen the Guardians Christmas special. I'm just going through John's list now. But
I would do that this year for sure.
Sure, maybe,
It's
possibly,
fun.
But again, when I probably will because it's Guardians of the Galaxy. But like, I don't.
I still haven't seen this. I still haven't seen the third Guardians movie.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I didn't see that in theaters either.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did actually. I think actually maybe I did.
Yeah, I think you did.
Anyway, I feel like we have thoroughly beaten this dead horse, but
well, and I think that's fine. I think to me, what if the MCU is, you know what, we should change, then do what you're currently doing, which is play in the miniseries TV shows, because you're able to really hone in on character development, right? And then once you do all that, go make a movie. Because how many times have we seen a show and go like, God damn, it's over. I hope they do a movie, right? And maybe that's the flip that needs to happen. Because I feel like, you know, shit on them if you want, but I thought Moon Knight was great. Obviously, She-Hulk was amazing. I haven't seen Secret Invasion, and I don't know if I ever will. I just don't really care about that.
Okay. I actually pause. I did not finish Secret Invasion, and I couldn't. It was not
because it was
not
no,
great.
good. Yeah. But you know, the shows that do well create an intrigue to say, "Fuck, I hope I see that in the movies." And maybe that's what we need to get to, because to me, like, man, when you see Loki, Nate, I cannot wait for us to talk about it, because fuck, was it a masterpiece. And it's just got me more hyped for Kang Dynasty, and really intrigued to see who they're going to recast Jonathan Majors with, because they are done. They are done with that whole situation, no matter whether he's innocent or guilty. He is done.
I just don't, and I don't understand the hullabaloo about it. If there was one character that's ever been written in the whole goddamn history of Marvel that you could just say, well, bam, that version's gone, here's a new one, it's Kang.
It's Kang, yeah.
It's so easy. There's a little boy version, there's the goddamn old man version, there's the Egyptian god version, there's the
and he, you know, they show some of those versions in at the end of Ant-Man. Like they show those versions.
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, so at the end of the movie, they show the Council of Kangs, and it's all Jonathan Majors is different versions of him, and it's, you know, the Pharaoh version. Like there's different versions that he plays, but like you're saying, all it has to happen is another Kang, another version of Kang holding the multiverse or something in his hand going, we're doing this instead. And it's a different actor. Whoop-de-doo. It's done. Whatever. Like, you're right. The character literally was created to have multiple versions. So a recast would not be out of the realm of possibility. And if you're worried about continuity, the multiverse doesn't give two shits about continuity. Like, that's the whole fun part about it. And going back to the Marvels, I just want to go see the mid-credit scene in person, because I cannot wait to just fucking explode my pants.
I still don't know what it is at all. So
it's fucking awesome, Nate. It's gonna be awesome. Like it's cool because like it brings.
Okay, I have one question.
Okay,
is it Beta Ray Bill?
Of course, it's not Beta Ray Bill.
Okay,
then you don't. Then I don't care. Then okay. Well, here's the reason why it's gonna be awesome.
No, don't tell me. I want it to be secret.
Comic book accurate. That's all I'm saying. Comic book accurate. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I really don't want to talk about this.
Okay, it's fine. Well, then let's not do. I'm sorry, guys. We're not gonna talk about any of your comments because we'll continue.
No, I mean we can talk about comics.
All right,
but
go ahead.
Most of them are just like everyone is agreeing or disagreeing. splits. We
Yeah.
all are in our own same splits, right? Like Patty's had a good example. Like literally a woman as a tire cashier in her 50s was like excited about the Marvel movie. And that's great. Like and that's the thing we get so wrapped up about. Like we're all people that are thoroughly entrenched in this shit. And the vast majority of the people that go see these movies are not thinking about it all day long. They're going, "Hey, hon, you want to go see a movie tonight? Yeah, what's in theaters? Oh, Marvel's. Okay, whatever. Let's go see it." Or there's that other the Wells of the Flower Moon or whatever. You want to watch a space shoot 'em up, or you want to go cry about Native Americans? Actually, I'd rather go cry about Native. All right, let's go do that. Like, what? I don't know. Like, we're not thinking. We're all just so chronically pushed in to the MCU and what's happening, and is this great or is it not great? I just think we probably need some perspectives on it all. But, see, John, I know Jonathan Majors is good, and when he first got assigned to King, I was so happy because I just watched what's it called? What's that show that he was on? That Showtime show? I can't.
I know what you're talking about. It's the creepy.
He was on that, and he did so good. But like, you don't beat up women and kind of get to be the like billion-dollar star in the MCU anymore.
Well, and there's other reports of him just being a total ass bag on set to people.
Yeah.
And, like, just it sucks. But you know,
Aaron said, "I really think the pandemic took a lot out in general. There are movies that still make a lot, but generally speaking, movies are still struggling." Yeah.
Lovecraft Country. That's that was his big like.
Thank you.
Boom. All right. Well, let's get. All right.
Joe, Darcy, I believe that is correct. We haven't gone over that book, but we're definitely.
Joe, thank you for the question. Always.
Yeah, that was probably one of your most longest discussion.
Outside of like whenever we talk about why we do this, you know, like I'll get into a long rant on that one. All right, Donna DC Batman and Robin issue number 3. I liked it. I thought it was fun. You know, still waiting, even though we're kind of hinting at it. I'm waiting for that slice of life to hit a little bit harder. Right now, it's just been kind of like running and gunning, nonstop action, which is not a bad thing. But I want the time in high school. I want Damien struggling to do math problems. I want Wayne to potentially get a non wannabe or potential criminal love interest. Just the person next door that he somehow finds himself on a date with and is like, how the fuck did I get here? Shit, I kind of like her. Like, I'm wanting some of that.
Yeah, that particular thing, because of what's happening in Detective, is not
gonna happen. I understand that, but if there's a book that has the potential to do it, I feel like it would be this book because of them living in a house together and, hey, you got to go to school. And, you know, I'm just kind of, if there's a criticism about it, it's that. Overall, I thought the book was great. DeMio, fuck, man.
Wasn't that a great run? Wasn't that a great 3-issue run? I'll miss it.
God damn it.
We don't have them for at least through issue 6. So, what a great run. What a great 3-issue run.
So stupid. It's going to kill the tone of the book.
It's so frustrating.
Who's on the art next week or next month?
Well, next month it's going to be Mikhail Janin, who okay, he's good. I like that. But then I'm not familiar with the guy that's going to be on the 2 issues after that. And I cannot. There's no way I'll even attempt his name. It is like a Eastern European name that like Nicola something. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accent marks on there.
You know what pisses me off more than that is that DeMio does the covers.
Yeah.
Well,
so that you think you're going to continue to get DeMio
I don't
interiors
like
as well.
DC. I don't like it. Anyway, I like this book. That was great.
Yeah. What was I had one. The only thing about this book that literally made me roll my eyes so hard my eyeballs fell to the ground and I had to scoop them back up.
Oh, geez.
Is the female version of Hush?
Oh, of Hush is Shush.
Her name is Shush.
Well, but even
bad.
Yeah, but even Batman and White Rabbit are like.
Yeah, it's not funny though. Like even when you do that, it's still bad.
Okay,
it's still really bad.
I thought I.
But this is still, I think, pretty serviceable. Like the we didn't get a lot of like plot progression, but the action that we got from Demio like was enough to carry the issue.
Well, that's what's got me worried about the next issues then, because we don't have him to rely on that. So,
exactly.
All right, tell me about Detective Comics.
Okay, so boy, is James missing out on this one.
Don't care.
And you were almost like, damn, I am missing out. Not that you were gonna pick it up, but know you're missing out now.
No, I do.
So, first of all, the art in this book is like really, really good. Like, it's not like the art style is my favorite, but it's just such a refreshing take on Batman from what we've been getting for the past few years. And again, not that it's even better than other stuff. I just like what we're doing. I can't even think of his name. What's our Jorge Jimenez? Like, obviously he's not better, but like it's still just it's really fun. What?
Look at Joe's comment.
Oh man, see, I'm not sure where the disconnect is on this particular issue. So like,
look. Before you continue, let me just tell you, I believe the disconnect is not this issue, and not this current run, not this current arc.
Yeah,
it is all of the shit that we've had to wade through to get to this point where we're no longer on the book. But then we've got you and all of your infinite wisdom, and I'm not trying to be facetious, saying you motherfuckers are missing, and that's not your fault. It is V's fault, because nothing was happening until we got to this point, and then you're like, "Yo, by the way, Azrael's cutting people in half," and I'm like, "God damn it!" And that makes me even more angry, and I don't want to pick it up now because I don't want to pick it up even more. Continue. Sorry.
So obviously, like the best thing about this run is this team that is being assembled to get Batman out of being hung. Now, the whole premise is a little bit weird. Like, we know that this is for sure after Gotham War. It says it in there again, like, after what happened, with the Gotham War. At one point, it talks about how the majority of the Bat family isn't available, which makes no sense. We have not been told at all why, like Dick and Tim and why they're not available. But anyway, this team, I literally had to find the text that I sent you just so I remembered it all correctly. So you've got Selena. I actually put Serena. You've got Selena Gordon. You have Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. And then, of course, the big reveal of this issue is that Mr. Freeze is on the team. Now, again, if you haven't been reading the backups in this run, you would be very confused at this. But there was a moment between Batman and Mr. Freeze in the tunnels of Gotham at one point, and like it makes total sense. It was a really good continuity nod. And like I also want to see, like, Mr. Freeze is like, yo, like after this I'm going back to fucking shit up. But like, let's get, like, we need Batman, so like let's go do it, sort of a thing, which was really, really good. But of course, at the end, we get Selena has to go get one more team member. There's just one more person out there that is sort of like the ace in the hole sort of thing. The person that we're not quite sure is, what their mental stability is or not. And of course, it's Azrael. And literally, as she's trying to find him, there's one guy who is literally laying in a pool of blood that's been like sliced in half, and then like another guy like running away screaming on fire, and then Azrael's just fucking chilling in the shadows with his damn flame sword. Like, fucks up, man. Like, what's going on? They're like, hey, we gotta go save Batman. He's like, let's do it, bro. Totally. In the last issue too, he has, he gets his little callings or whatever, and he's like, I feel like I'm being called to the cowl again. And you can see his old fucking bat suit from his original run when he was Batman back in the 90s. What is that, like Nightfall or something? Anyway, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's got this really awesome, like, weird look to it. It's this whole premise of like a Batman outlaw Western style, like, it's almost ridiculous enough to like make the issue lose credit, except it's just so good.
Joe says, I read the first 6 issues of V's run. It was such a slow burn. It was like dragging my balls over glass to get through. I kind of agree.
Yeah, if that's like, if you guys like drag your balls over glass and you like keep doing it for 6 issues, you guys have problems.
I didn't like it though. I'm just gonna be like, I didn't like it. It just wasn't one that. But that being said, my boy Azrael deserves another mini, if not an ongoing. That character is so kick-ass. Like, I would love to see an Azrael Ghost Maker team up. I think that would be a fucking awesome team. Or a multiversal like meld of the 2 characters. How about that? That'd be cool.
Anyway, I like seriously.
Joe,
this is totally. I will say this: the first 2 issues of this like intermezzo arc are so intriguing that I actually want to go back and read the first 14 issues or whatever to like see. Maybe I just didn't get it. Maybe I missed it. Like, what's going on here? Or maybe it'll just be better if I'm reading it consecutively, and I like my forgetfulness won't have harmed the story. Which, of course, is Ron V's job to make me be able to stay focused month to month. That's part of serialized writing.
Right.
But still, I've already bought the issues, right? Like, might as well get their value out of them.
For sure. 100%. So. All right, next up we have Green Lantern issue number 5, Rage of the Red. You know, I thought the artwork in this book was really good. I'm just going to throw that out right now. I really enjoyed the artwork. And this made me want to hopefully get a fighter pilot, just like a straight up non-superhero fighter pilot Daniel Warren Johnson book. Like, I hope the next book Daniel Warren Johnson writes is just about being an ace fighter pilot. Like a Top Gun, like a Top Gun book. Like, I hope he does that. Because I think, even though that's not him in this book, that's who I'd want to do that kind of book.
He's a Navy man, I believe.
Well, Navy's got planes.
Oh, that's actually true.
Yeah. Anyway, now I got halfway through the book and then something came up, so I didn't finish it. But you told me what happened, and that just sounds badass. So, knowing what I know now, where I was at in the book, putting my Night Terror's prejudice aside, I'm really happy that we have a Green Lantern book right now. Like, I'm really enjoying this Green Lantern run.
Yeah, I am too. I am satiated a little bit because we also have a John Stewart run. I'm not the biggest Hal Jordan fan as a character. I think he's kind of like Hal Jordan voted for George Bush, you know, like he's a Ronald Reagan guy. So like, I don't like him as a character, but the book has been very interesting. I will say, I really, really hate this cover, and I don't mean the artwork. I mean, it revealed the amazing plot turn at the end of this book. Because this whole time we're like, oh goddamn, like Sinestro, you know, he's just fucking shit up like he does. He's a bastard. And the whole time he was like, you know, he gets stopped, like, right? They stop all the drones. The drones are trying to blow up these cities, kill tens of thousands of people. And Hal Jordan's like, you're an idiot. You fucked up. I'll beat your ass again. And Sinestro's like, man, all I was trying to do is instill some fear, get some power into my yellow ring, you know, make these little kids scared a little bit so I can go back home. I don't want to be here anymore. Your planet's dumb. I don't even want to be here. I want to go back to my planet and help them out. But all you've done is just fucking made me pissed and more pissed. You beat me here. You beat me there. You beat me this. Like, now I'm fucking pissed. He turns around and his yellow ring's a red ring. He's floating in the air. There's red everywhere. That's great. It was so cool. But we knew it was going to happen. He told us right here before I could even get there. Why you do that?
Because DC doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
When it comes to that kind of stuff, their writers and stuff are, but like when it comes to like their editing, they're editors and like whoever's job it is to like make sure you keep an artist consistent. Hey, make sure we put the right shit on here. Make sure there's also a backup in here that's like, it's been difficult. I didn't read this one because the first one was too difficult to get through. And then, of course, Jeremy Adams put on Twitter this week, make sure you're reading the backups. They will be important. You will need to know them. They're there for a reason. And I'm just like, so now I got to go back and read them. whoever's doing that shit needs to step their game up big time.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
John says Arcade Kings has a DWJ vibe. By the way, books are $7.99 though. Damn, son. Damn.
They big.
They big. All right.
Don't read Burns' run on She-Hulk. She's a Republican. Making fun. I'll exchange. I mean, like, I would probably get a kick out of that, and it's not like I can't read books from others' perspectives so much, but it's like you understand who the type of person is. If I go like, he proudly voted for Ronald Reagan and George Bush, like, still after all the things we know, he's still proud of it. You instantly know what kind of human that is, and like I'm super into those people. Like, they're just bad people inherently. So maybe you're right. Maybe I wouldn't like the Bird Run, but I'll stick with the current Rainbow Rowell,
which is amazing.
Version instead.
Fucking amazing.
It is very tis.
How is Fish Flies?
Well, I guess I'll do this one at the end because I told you to put it on there.
Well, then do it. Do it really quick.
Did you not put this on there either?
No, it's right there.
Oh. You just did it out of order, I guess.
No,
Sorry.
oh my god, just
D is before F.
I understand. For whatever
we went through this and I don't remember.
We filmed it and you didn't say a goddamn thing.
Probably because back then I was like, I don't give a fuck. Okay. So, by the way, we didn't talk about issue 3. This is issue 4 that came out this week. And man, did this have an absolute about turn face in issue 3. So, like, in issue 3, they like get powers endued from them on this like separate planet, whatever thing that they're on, this alternate world. They basically realize that in that little panda that they see there that turned into like a person.
Yeah,
it's just a manifestation of the area they're in. The whole thing, everything there, it's all a hive mind organism. And by their very presence, their being in it, they're part of the hive mind organism now. And so they like start gaining these powers and stuff. And each one by one, starts gaining powers and seeing the way in their perspective, and it's like an enlightenment. But then the friend that's the sister, who's the whole reason why they're there looking for a brother, they're like, no, you have evil in your heart. You're sad and you're mad and you're angry, and you don't get to be part of it. We're gonna cut you out. And so they have to run basically to get out of there, so that they don't kill their friend. And while they're running, the things like talking to them, yeah, you don't want to leave because time goes by way slower here. So like, you don't know how much time's gone by in your world. Like, it could have been a long time. And so they bust out. And as soon as they bust out, it's that panel that we saw from the previews. It's the massive, huge monster on the beach. And they go out in this issue. They find that it's been like a few weeks to maybe a month. And there was an attack. That thing attacked and killed like thousands of people, but a lot of people were able to get away. And it like, it's all this like dystopian. They attacked the military, and the military couldn't do it, but the kids are able. It's just like wandering around looking for people, and the kids are able to like zap it into a sleep. And in this issue, they basically are like going around and finding their families and trying to figure out what's going on. It went back to the feel of the first issue, like this adult Goonies, Stranger Things sort of feel. And then the last one, it's the redheaded girl. They go to try to find her mom, and they walk into her room, and there's a suicide note on the bed. And it's basically like, if I thought you were coming back, I would wait for you forever. Like, if I knew eventually you'd be here, I'd wait. But I know now for sure you're never coming back. And of course, so the girl sits down on her bed and starts weeping. And then she notices the coffee mug next to her is still warm. Like, it's still hot. And so they're like, oh shit, she just left. And so they run out of the house, and they like see her on the beach. And literally right as they get to the beach, that monster is awakened and comes down and plops the mom up, eats her up. and then the girl goes like full, Super Saiyan, and just like does this amazing Kamehameha to the bitch monster. It is like, oh, this will not happen. What does she say? She says, no, I don't think so. And then just like attacks the monster. So we'll see how it all ends in the final issue, but whatever slowness we had in issue 2
is gone.
Immediately turned around. Very, very good. And of course, like the art Like that dude's art.
No, yeah, the artwork's fantastic. I've never had a complaint about the art.
Unreal. Okay, so
this is your show from here
here
on out.
on out,
This is
yeah.
basically your show.
Okay. So listen, like, this is my real pick of the week, and Thor is also too. But like this is my pick of the week. And like, let's just get it out. Like we all know, like I'm a baby. We all know I'm a prissy little crack riot baby. And comics about daddies and daughters or hurt dogs are just gonna make me cry. And this book made me feel a lot of emotions, like a lot of like, not just like I'm angry because the thing I didn't want to happen happened, but like, and it's not like it's, I don't know, it's not even hitting like memories or like suppressed traumas that I've had or anything. Like I didn't have an alcoholic father, like I didn't have, like my dad never beat me or my sister, but like seeing a drunk alcoholic dad smacking around his daughter just fucking infuriates you, especially when you're a dad. Like it hits so much harder, like it hits so much deeper. And so this issue was really about the unseen abuses that we have to deal with. You know, so we've got the sheriff who's still investigating. You know, they still haven't found the guy that shot the kid, right? Because he's turned into a giant bug. And so he's like slowly finding out like, just these small little abuses that are in the town, and it just feels like a real place. And even though he's talking about these weird things that don't really make sense about, no, there's something like the fish flies, or there's something wrong with, there's something like that creates this badness. And at no point is anyone talking about evil or devil or magic, but like you just know it's like something not normal, something surreal in some way. And then of course there's the overt abuses in here too, where of course like the drunk dad comes home, daughter's not where she's supposed to be, he hits her and like completely splits her cheek open. And right as that happens, the cop comes to the door, and you know they have this, she runs out the back door, and the cop's like, yo, I think like we have proof that he came through here, we want to go see. And she doesn't want the bug to get caught, so she gets the bug to like leave, or tries to get him to leave. And then we get that classic trope where like the you're trying to get the horse to go for its own good, and the horse won't go, so you start like throwing rocks at her. You're like, just get out of here, I don't like you anymore, I hate you. And like this girl has no way to express her emotions, and she cares for this fucking bug dude so much because he's the only one. Oh, you're ugly like me. Like it's so heartbreaking, man. Like it's tough. And she gets him to leave so that he won't get caught. And you know, after the cop leaves and she finally goes back inside, he's like, where the fuck were you? And she was like, oh, I was in the barn. He's like, no, I went out to the barn with the cop, you weren't in there. And he goes to hit her again, and she's like, no, I promise I wasn't. And he goes to hit her again, the bug dude is back and stops his arm and grabs his head and fucking shoves it through the wall. And I just was like, there's no reason for me to like feel good about that, but like that was like, he just shoves his head through the wall and picks it up and just starts slamming it and slamming it. He pulls it away, and the dude's teeth start fucking falling out of his face. Like, he's not dead, but he's like obviously like the dude's gonna be in bad shape.
Yeah.
And she's just like, the daughter's just like, let's get out of here. Like, what are we doing? I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to be, let's just get out of here. And so she climbs on his back and they fly away. And we're gonna have to see what adventures they're gonna get into next. We still got 3 more issues, but
oh my god,
it's so bizarre, it's so weird, but it's also the most human and realistic in real life. There's no reason why a comic should make me feel the emotions of this comic. Like I was weeping at this comic. There's no reason, but I did, and it's really good. And if you want to like be sad and depressed and wonder why you keep reading weird comics like that, you should read it.
All right.
Very strange.
All right, Ed. Just
I was waiting for trade. Yeah, Joe, it's not going to be collected in trade because it's each issue is so thick that
So thick.
it's essentially a trade. I also bet you that they say all that, Lemire likes to be like that, right? He's a little hipster and he likes to be like, oh man, singles only. But I bet you if it gets popular enough and they're like need to do like a hardcover or something.
All right, I'm just gonna tell you now. I can't hear you do this review because I know it's gonna be brutal.
I promise you can hear. As a matter of fact, I actually waited to tell you this before I reviewed it. I want to see this. I see. I need to look at this. This book was absolutely nothing what I expected it to be for like 85%. And the first time I read this book, I was like, I really like what's going on here, but why is it happening in this book? And then I read it again, and I still can't answer that question for you. But if you like James Tynion and you like not only are you like interested in his writing, but seeing the man in his writing, it cannot possibly be any other book he's ever written more like soul on the page than this book, which is bizarre. So like in some ways this book is what you think it is. Like it starts out and we see our main character, and it's a guy who's like making a comic. It's 2023, it's Christmas time, and they're like out in public seeing like, just the festivities and like a mall and, all the kids running around and stuff. And the guy basically, like his husband or boyfriend, I don't remember if it says, but let's just say husband, comes up. It's like, yo, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, it's just like these times always make me feel like I don't belong or something. I always say, oh, it's these times like these that make me feel like something's wrong with me. That's a very key thing to remember. Then it jumps into a quick flashback to the 70s where we see the first death. I won't tell you about the first death. The first death is pretty brutal. And then we see the cops immediately go on a chase because they think they found the guy. And they get to a barn. And I am going to have to tell you about this death because it's important to the next part of the story. But I will censure. Okay, no, just do that. So what they find is two adolescent boys, probably around 10, 11 years old, that have been chained up with Christmas decorations, and they're completely naked and drenched in blood from like abuse everywhere. It's pretty horrific.
I'm not listening. No.
Yes, you need to come back.
I could hear. I heard exactly what you just said. I don't.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm done. I'm done with the bad stuff.
Yay.
And so, and one of the cops is like, yo, I see him. He's here, and he goes right. And then that's when we see the Santa that you see on the front. It's covered in blood. And then we fast forward back to December 2023, and the guy that's making the comment sits down with the man who has been in jail for 50 years for committing those murders. And it devolves into this just really strange and interesting conversation about being a gay man in America. And so like at one point he asks him, did you know the boys? And he goes, I guess that depends on what you're asking me. He's like, most people when they ask me that shit, they're asking me that I know them in a biblical sense. And he's like, no, I didn't fuck these kids. Like, yes, I knew them. I worked, like I was their manager. Like I worked with them, but like, I didn't do anything to them. And that's what I'm blamed for. And we find out like this guy's weird. Like, I mean, the guy drops like hard F-bombs like 4 times. The guy is like the quintessential like person that was gay in the 60s and 70s and had to live a closeted life their whole life, and just like that gruff, rough exterior that you develop from that. I assume I'm making
not
all
being
this
yourself,
or not being able to live your natural ability. And the guy just keeps calling the interviewer out on his shit, and it's just like, like he was like, why do you want to talk to me? And if we finally find out that our main character, the way that he found out that there were he was like a young teenage boy, probably 13. That was the first time he had ever heard that there were males attracted to other males, is when he was driving, or he was riding his bike by this guy's house, and his friend that was with him was like, hey, let's throw rocks at this guy's house. He's the one that went to jail for molesting those boys. And he's like, so now, a day that should have been happy to me, like, oh, I finally realized I'm not one, it's fucking tied to you, and you're fucking savage, and you've done all this bad stuff. And he's like, oh, so now you think that because you're gay, you're a savage too, that you're bad too. It's like, yeah. And it just ends up turning into this like really weird therapy session. It's very strange. Like, I'm not sure why it fits the story. I'm sure it'll turn out. It was written really well, and like it feels like Tinian's like really writing himself on the page. But I will say that it felt very disconnected. It was very strange.
Interesting.
And then the last fourth of the book is we see someone in that same, what looks to be the bathroom of that same mall. Like they were like an elf, like getting undressed from their elf costume, getting redressed, and then the Santa guy walks in and he's dripping blood and has his axe. So it's like, okay, the killer's back. Either it's a copycat or the guy in jail really wasn't the guy, and the original guy is back. So we don't know for sure. This book was interesting. Like, it was good in a lot of ways, and the writing was just like excellent. Like, I was just flying through.
Well, yeah,
it's just like really good.
Tiny.
But man, it just like I don't know. Like at some point, I felt like a voyeur. Like I felt like, man, this is a conversation. I don't have any. I shouldn't be a part of this. Like this is like two people sharing deep experiences that I can't relate. That I shouldn't be involved in. Not because it bothers me, but because it's so personal.
Right.
Like just this whole build felt really personal. So yeah, very interesting.
All right. Okay.
That's it. That's that book.
Good talk. All right. Did you have any other ones that we forgot to put on the show? I just want to make sure. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode of Two Fat Guys Plus, episode 154 or issue 154. Catch us this Tuesday where we'll be talking about our new comic books. No, Evangelion again. Well, did you not watch it? You didn't watch it.
No, I don't have no.
You don't have time. Well, you've got Thanksgiving, so
I don't get off for work. I have the day off, but
you don't get Friday off?
Nope. I work for a restaurant group. They don't close. They close 3 days a year. No, 2 days a year.
Okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, well, we'll at some point we will, John. We'll get there at some point. But catch us this Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we'll be talking about our new comics for next week. Which, there's a She-Hulk book, right?
I think it's 16 books next week.
You have 16 books?
Between the two of us in our individual books, we have
I have 12.
Yep, and you have 3 or 4. I don't, and I have 2 or 3.
There's 2 that I'm actually super excited about. One was not even on my radar until I looked at what you were pulling, and then I was like, God damn it, I gotta get that because it just sounds dope. But you'll have to see our new comic book day video to see what we're talking about. But be sure to catch that here on YouTube Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we'll see you guys live this next coming Sunday, where we'll talk about all these books and more. It's going to be a good week. I'm looking at these pulls, and I'm like, oh, yeah, man, it's going to be a good week.
It's going to be a good week.
It's going to be a good week. I mean, I've got 2 awesome, strong, sexy ladies next week. She-Hulk, Wonder Woman. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah, bro. And then there's but stop it.
Banana bread at work, dude? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. The fucking Cubs, dude? No. Fuck no, bro. I love that,
God.
dude. I love that shit.
Oh,
It's so good.
My God. One.
Banana bread at work, dude. Anyway, guys.
My mom said good things will come to those who wait. And I got banana bread at work? Oh.
Hell yeah, dude. All right.
We gotta stop.
We're just turning into a meme. Pepe Larraz on Carnage next week has got me pumped. What the
Oh. No. Pepe. Perez.
Perez.
You
Perez.
you just put what you wanted to see there.
Of course I did. Anyway, we'll see you guys Tuesday, then Sunday, and we'll talk about some awesome comics. Thanks to everyone that watched us live and to everyone that's watching us as a past episode. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Subscribe. That's all, guys. Subscribe. Please subscribe.
Do it.
Clap. Please clap. Anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, fam, be kind to one another. And as always, read more comics. Later, guys. Bye.
I didn't wake up my kid doing that.
I hope he didn't. That'd be bad.
Bad. Real bad.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude. Where did someone... Fat Guys Pull List with another W. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that.
Joe, I think that'd be a great show idea, by the way. Just do a video ranking Tinian books. Oh, I'm also already working on my best years. So we need to get on that.
I am not. So I need to work on that.
Right.
Good night, dudes. Hell yeah, I did.
Yep. Bye.
Banana bread at work, dude? All right. Bye. See you later.